Yo. Welcome back to GridIron Podcast. I am your host, Jay Brown. Joining me as always, he's back this week, Devontae Forever. What's good, bro?
What's going on with you, bro? Glad to be here.
No doubt. So, as always, if you guys don't know, comment down below in the comments some thoughts you have on NFL Week 5. What's going on? The officiating. We saw some horrible calls go down. Uh, had some upsets. We had some close games that maybe people didn't expect. We got a whole division that's out there putting in wins that a lot of people used to have a certain nickname for. So, to kick it off, man, what's your quick thoughts on NFL Week 5?
You're realizing that every team you think is deep is not deep. This to me is like the culmination of the first, pretty much the preseason. This is where things start to get spicy. So I'm excited for these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, yo. So in the week 5, last week, of course, I said preseason ended last week. So of course, some people disagreed with that, saying, probably because their team was doing good, right? So they're like, no, this ain't the real preseason. But it was a lot of, I think Tom Brady said, right? It's a lot of sloppy football being played. And I'm like, I agree with that. You know what I mean? Whether it's
Absolutely.
the Raiders, which is my team, the Steelers, even the Bills, the Chiefs, Dallas, some of these teams that are like really out here beasting, they still playing sloppy ball. They could play a lot better. So let's quickly touch upon one thing. How are you feeling about your Steelers? Record aside, right? Of course, because we know it was a beat down in Buffalo, but like, are you worried about your Steelers? You think you need a coaching change of some sort? You worry about players? What's your thoughts on it?
The offensive coordinator has to go. I think it's like obvious. It's not even a debate. If you don't touch no player until you're firing the offensive coordinator, but a lot of the things people are scared about is my defense and how everybody are and people are overreacting a lot because we had most of our secondary was injured and hurt against Buffalo. Now, do I think we're gonna beat Buffalo anyway? No. But I think people are starting to finally understand how much of a defensive presence TJ Watt really is. Like, we are statistically 0-7 when we don't have TJ Watt in the field. And people are like, oh, that's where's this next man up type of garbage. No, they don't know. You take Aaron Donald off the Rams lose. I guarantee it. Like, don't tell me. Like, people think like only this next man up garbage only applies to quarterbacks, and that's so stupid. Like, that's so stupid. Like, no, when you have a force who had 22 sacks last year, it changes your entire defense because you ain't really scared of nobody else. Like,
Sure.
you can double Cam Hayward because he's an inside player. You can do different things because you're not coaching afraid because there's nobody on the defense you should be afraid of besides Micah Fitzpatrick. So
Absolutely.
so the defense becomes compromised. So then it's like it's hard to get pressure. And then, like, for example, like nobody's gonna it's gonna take a group effort to replace the impact that TJ Watt has, but now you're seeing what TJ Watt does. He blocks passes, he picks passes off, he gets fumbles, he does run, he's in the run game, like he does everything. And that's the thing about my defense that everybody's I don't know why people acting like TJ Watt is not him. He's not who he is. And
Right.
it's annoying. Like, it's annoying. People are like, oh, well, like the defense is getting no pressure. Why am I the only person who didn't see that coming? Like, I saw this coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett is ready. I don't know what the better way to play it. Like, it didn't look like it on the score, obviously. Kenny Pickett actually played very well. And I was actually I was kind of confused. Like, he was making some throws. I was looking around like, wait, what? Like,
yeah,
we had some decent drives. We have Deontay Johnson. He let me down, but like it was one game. He got to catch the ball. Him and Claypool have to catch the ball, period.
absolutely.
George Pickens is here to stay. Like I predicted, George Pickens is here to stay.
Ooh, the monster.
That's a bad man. But like it comes out, our offense is simple. Like I think we should sit Najee because Najee clearly is hurt because he's running like he's clearly hurt.
Yep.
But other than those little things, it just comes down to offensive game plan, and we don't have offensive game plan. And with that, everybody's just panicking, and it's so annoying. Everyone's like, "Oh, maybe Tomlin was a problem, or maybe we should
As always.
Tomlin was nothing without Big Ben. And I'm like, time out, because when I was telling y'all Big Ben wasn't washed, y'all was trying to throw him out the door last year. And when I
Right.
told y'all, the problem was the offensive line. Now,
Right.
what has changed? I'm like, the offensive line is decently better. I don't want to hear none of this. Like, the offensive scheme is horrible. You're not going to win in the NFL playing east to west. You have to play north and south. You have to throw the ball north and south. If you're going to sit there and just run jet sweeps and throw passes to the running back in the flat, you're going to lose in the NFL. It is just the way it is.
That's more of, so before we get into other things, no regrets on Pickett starting over Trubisky. No regrets with some of the moves Steelers have made. Besides,
no.
obviously, the OC still being there, right?
Hell no. Yeah, literally no. Besides getting rid of Canada, but then even then getting rid of Canada, like honestly, I don't think the Steelers are gonna have a good year this year. I think we're just gonna do what we normally do. Wait till once the season ends, get him out of here. Like put him on the bus. Don't even let him ride with the team. Put him on the bus. Get him up out of here. Only real regret I think I've had so far is not signing JPP. That was
Okay.
I think that was one of the stupidest things we didn't do was John sign JPP or D Ford. Where I'm like, I understand JPP's yes, like I understand JPP is a 4-3 guy, not a 3-4 guy. I don't care. Impact is impact. You can't tell me JPP cannot help out with the pass rush. You can't tell me
he helped Baltimore.
That's what I'm saying. You can't help. You can't, like, sometimes the Steelers get so stuck in their ways on scheme and stuff like that instead of just having people who just know how to ball. Like, it's that simple. Like, it's just that simple. Like,
all right, so with that said, let's get right into what we came here to talk about. We're gonna kick this off actually in New York, man. So obviously New York is mostly known for the Knicks and the Yankees, right? But they do got two football teams, man, and so far they both off to I would say hotter of a start than what people thought, right? New York Giants coming in still got questions with Daniel Jones. Barkley, we know the talent is there, but he's been injured a hell of a lot, actually. He's so far having a bounce back year. Giants are 4-1. New York Jets, I think everybody had them with Seattle as probably the bottom two teams, maybe Atlanta. But they're off to a hot start, 3-2. Obviously, Flacco had a good game. But then Zach Wilson came back, and now that's 2 straight wins. So I want to ask you specifically, which New York team impresses you more right now? The New York Jets at 3-2 or the New York Giants at 4-1?
This is very disgusting for me to say this because I hate this team with my whole heart. I hate the fans. I hate it, but like I gotta go with the Giants, and I hate the Giants with all my heart. Being an avid New Yorker, I hate every Giant fan walking the face of the earth. They're the only team. They're the only fan group that thinks going 9-8 is a Super Bowl ticket. I just think it's ridiculous. But I gotta go with the Giants. And the thing about the Giants is Brian Daboll is the coach of the year right now, and I don't think it's close. Like the way he has this team playing, and this team is a very compromised team. You can just see on the field they have no business competing. You look at do the Giants have a great defense? Pretty much always, right? They always have good D-line. They always have a great D-line. It's the Giants. Like the way Saquon's running, the way like their offensive line is blocking, moving the ball. They have one of the worst passing receiving core I've ever seen. Like the receiving core is trash, but they're winning. Why are they winning? Because they have phenomenal coaching, and their coaches are putting them in the best position to succeed and win. And that's why you have to go with the Giants because they have no business beating the Packers. They have no business beating the Packers. Like, and they're winning games because everybody believes in the system. And like, you can't teach great defense, and you can't teach great coaching and great strategy. You're just not going to beat it. So I got to go with the Giants, man.
This one was tough for me because I feel like it's for the reason why I'm torn between the Giants defense and I know Barkley's doing this thing. If he's healthy, I expect him to go off, right? So that's not really impressing me because I expect that from Saquon. But the defense is what really impressed me. And I'm not saying they shut down. I'm not saying they out here holding teams of 15 points or nothing. But they're keeping them in games, right? Barkley goes down to score, they go down, and they kind of bend but don't break, right? They give up a lot of field goals, not a lot of touchdowns. And that's what that's what, like, in the modern NFL with all the rule changes and stuff like that, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I'm really impressed with the Giants defense so far. But what I'm really impressed with, if I'm being completely honest, is this New York Jets offense. Breece Hall, he's looking like he's going to be a star in this league in terms of running back.
Good running back.
And again, Zach Wilson, we know he has an arm. We know the accuracy is hit or miss. There's times he's deadly accurate. There's times it's like, bro, what are you looking at, right? So I think he's actually developing. The offensive line is pretty good. And the Jets, so I'm going to probably go with the Jets just because I like what they're doing on offense. Their defense, man, pretty good. Shout out to Robert Saleh. Obviously, if you guys don't know, ex-49ers defensive coordinator. So he's used to being around some good defensive talent. I think he's a good coach. I know he got ragged on last year and the offseason. He's talking about he's keeping receipts and stuff like that. I think the Jets got a promising future. They had one hell of a draft. One hell of a draft.
Absolutely. They had one of the better drafts this year for sure.
In terms of the Giants, I like what they're doing on defense. Saquon is doing his things. They got to address quarterback, obviously. Either figure out if you're going to keep Jones or not, or find somebody to work with him. Because right now, what he's doing, if you notice, is mostly his legs, right? So teams are starting to defend him from running, and now he's being able to dink and dunk underneath and things like that. And the receivers, I do not like the Giants receivers at all. I think they're horrible. I think the defense is what's really the defense and Saquon. It's what's really holding them together.
Oh God, absolutely.
So with that said, right now I'm a little bit more impressive with the Jets. We do have a comment from Dana B. Seuss. Change hat. Washington not going to win another game this season. I don't know their schedule off the top of my head, so I can't say if they're going to win another game at all. Like, I think they have one win. I doubt they're going to go 1-16. But at the same time, they got problems, man. You
get Washington a good quarterback, man, because Jahan Dotson has been cooking people, and it's because he's on Washington. You would never notice, but that man is he's like almost 100% in single coverage. You know how scary that is. Like he's like five touchdowns already. Like what? Like bro. Like.
And we got a comment from Max Sergovich. Shout out to my boy Max from college. Jets, Jets. Gang Green is in the house. All right, man. Look, I'm with y'all. I love the offense, man. Look, I'm just saying, Tua's out.
That's all I'm saying.
Bridgewater's out. New England, they up and down too. You know what I mean?
Like you play Skylar Thompson. Like
AFC South is not that impressive. The NFC North is struggling right now. Besides the Ravens, Bengals looked a lot better too. We'll briefly touch upon that game. AFC West ain't what it's all cracked up to be. What I'm saying is, and they have yet to play the Bills, right? However, there's those wild card spots that we thought was going to the AFC West, that we thought was going to the North, maybe not. Who knows? You know, right now it's wide open in the AFC, and that's what I like the most.
It's so early. That's the craziest part.
Right. Dana B. Seuss says Wentz is not the one. So we're going to get right into that right now. Actually, he said nope.
Nope.
So quickly, let's jump right into this right now. Talk to me, man. The NFC East, which was once named the NFC Least, has 3 teams. One is 4-1, one is 4-1, one is 5-0, and then obviously we have Washington at 1-4. Is the division once labeled the NFC Least now the best division in football? Through 5 weeks. Through 5 weeks, of course.
I say there's a second best with
okay.
I just like what the AFC East is when it's healthy. Like
AFC East, okay.
Yes, like when you got Buffalo, and when you have Buffalo, when you have Miami, when you have New England, what they look like. The NFC East is always the most competitive division. Sure. No matter when they all trash or not, they always the most competitive division because you got to send one to the playoffs, and they always fight for that spot. Now, you look at. I like what the Giants are doing. Do I think the Giants have enough to beat the Cowboys and Eagles? No. Why? Because they can't throw the football.
Sure.
You look at Dallas. I'm sorry, Cowboy fans. Y'all haven't played nobody yet. Let's be real here. Y'all really ain't played nobody. Like, y'all ain't played nobody. Like, look, the Rams look trash this year. Are we in agreement? The Rams have been horrible. They really have
That
a Super Bowl
offensive
hangover
line
right now,
might be the worst in the league.
or horrendous.
Right.
The only good team that the Cowboys have played so far is the Giants, and contrary
Bengals.
to belief, the Bengals. Contrary to belief,
Yeah.
the Bengals, who are still up and down at the moment. Like, you know what I
Okay.
mean? So like, I need to see, like, I'm not a Cowboy believer like that in Cooper Rush and all this stuff. I need to see them Sunday night against these Eagles. This is like they're going to be like their first real test. Because I'm looking like, who have y'all played? And the same thing I say about the Cowboys is pretty much a lot what I say about the same thing about the Eagles. Like, who have y'all played? Like you know what I mean? Where it's like,
right,
y'all not coming out here and just smoking like the Bucks or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? So
sure.
it's like 5-0 look nice, but like if you look at the Eagles Cardinals game, the Eagles should have lost that game.
Right.
The Cardinals just blew that. Like,
sure.
So like it's early. Do each team in the NFC East have something to be very excited about? Absolutely.
Right.
But the best, I don't think so, because I think the AFC East has the best. AFC East, hell, even the AFC West have the best chance to send multiple teams to the playoffs. I don't think multiple teams in the NFC East are going to the playoffs. I'd be shocked if you got two teams from the NFC East going to the playoffs.
Okay. So just to get this straight, you're saying right now they're the second best, but you're saying when it all shakes out at the end of the year, the NFC East will kind of revert back to what we knew it as.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, this is going to be interesting because right now I'm going to say this. I think the NFC East is the best division of football by far. And I'm going to say this for 4 specific reasons. I can't believe I'm saying this. That Dallas defense look real, man. that Dallas defense look real. It is not just Micah. I know everybody likes to give all the credit to Micah Parsons. And I'm not
just
saying
run at him.
I'm not saying true. I'm not saying DeMarcus Lawrence is some world beater. I'm not saying Vander Esch is monster or anything like that. I'm not saying like they got like Ramsey and Aaron Donald and TJ Watt. But what they do as a unit, the way they flow to that football, man, yo, they're tough to run on because of that. Now, granted, you run at Micah, he's still a little light, right? I think they say he's about 240, but I'm thinking more like 220. But and obviously the pass rush is there. But the way they swarm to that football, man, it's hard to break away from. Like in last night's game, the Chiefs, you notice how Jacobs, it's a lot of one-on-one, right? With the linebacker, with the safety, with the corner. With Dallas, they chasing behind you. So like you cut back, boom, you're getting tackled. So that's Dallas. Philly, their running game is serious. The offensive line is serious. The defensive line is serious. Now, granted, I get you. The division as a whole, because of the way the schedule kind of shook out so
they
far,
play nobody.
It's not like they're playing the world beaters. What this year in the NFL, half the league, well, not anymore, but was at 2-2. So we don't know who the world beaters are. That's what I'm saying. We can go off last year and say, fine, the Bengals, right? We can go off last year and say, well, the Giants are 4-1 this year. So I'm not 100% sure personally, but at the same time, damn, I like what I see from the Giants defense and Barkley. If Daniel Jones can find a way to not turn the ball over and they can run the ball, I think the Giants will be all right. And right now, look, Miami got the injury. I still don't know what to think about New England, and the Jets are off to a great start. I'm just not sure right now. But I would put the AFC East at 2, so we kind of flip-flopped. But for right now, I got to go AFC. I got to go East, I'm sorry. Even with Washington kind of being like the odd man out. So let's get to these comments real quick. So we will see this week against Philly. So
that's all
Cowboys
exactly.
and Philly. That's a big game. It's a showdown, of course. Dallas already has a divisional win against against the Giants, and Philly beat the Commanders. I keep wanting to say the football team, and but so next up we got Reggie Brown, overrated division. So he's not feeling the East, NFC East. That is
like they haven't played nobody yet. Like this is like the first test.
And he says Cowboys will win the NFC East.
I got the Eagles.
I'm still rocking with Philly right now with the NFC East. So,
I think the Eagles got the better defense as a whole, not just Michael Parsons.
But what I do disagree with is I do think two teams are going to come out of that for the NFC wild card. I don't know who's going to win the division. I don't know who's going to lose. I think the Cowboys and Philly are going to come out. Glenn Foreman, Alvarez just hit a walk-off 3-1 shot to win the game. Houston wins. Damn Astros, man. I'm sick of them too.
I hate the Astros.
You know what? Good. Let Houston go on, and so Yankees can beat them in the ALCS.
Just don't let Chapman pitch. As long as we don't let Chapman ever pitch.
Glenn Foreman, the AFC North will rise. Go Cincy.
All right. Besides the last part of that, I do agree. But like, I think it's gonna be like I feel like our division is gonna be a fight tough division, but it's gonna be like a 10-7, 9-8 type of year for a lot of us.
Yep.
Like, it's just not gonna be a normal AFC North division where it's like we got one outlier. I think we're all gonna be we're all gonna be middle of the pack, and one of us and somebody's gonna get hot.
Look, I'm gonna say it, and this is not because my team is in the West. The Browns should have beat the Chargers if Jacoby Brissett just runs the ball like he had the first down, clear as day, kicked the game-winning field goal, game over. Instead, he wanted to throw a pick because he thought he wanted to do his best Patrick Mahomes, whatever. They should have beat the Chargers. I don't think the Browns are bad. I think the Steelers will be better despite the showing we saw against the Bills. Shout out to Jeremy. I see that he just got in there. Bills Mafia's here. Bills Super Bowl champs, baby. I don't know about that. Yeah, hold on, Jeremy. But look, man, like I'm very curious to see how both AFC East and the NFC East will shake out. I think both can take off. I think both could flop as a division. I'm talking. Obviously somebody's going to win the division. So, but let's get into more of these comments. Glenn Foreman, Eagles are a better overall team. Cowboys offense will change with Dak returns.
Absolutely.
Dak ain't returning. I'm telling you right now, Dak ain't returning.
Oh, he gonna return. He gonna return. Best believe he gonna return.
I'm just thinking about.
Should he? No. You didn't pay. Have you seen this man's contract?
I know.
You can't pay somebody that much and put him on the bench. I promise you, he gonna play.
I'm just saying,
he gonna play. I'm with you. It's a horrible mistake. I'm right with you. It is a horrible mistake.
As you know,
he gonna play.
As you know, I like Dak Prescott. I think he's a cool dude, and we talked about that all fair. I like Dak. I think Dallas is better with Cooper Rush. It forces them to run the ball. It forces them to play safe. You know what I mean? Like, I like the way Dallas plays with Cooper Rush. When Dak comes back, he's going to throw like 50 times. And I'm like, why? Because you're paying him? So you'd rather not win games by him throwing 50 times because you're paying him? Nah, man. If Dak comes back and plays and he's a starter, I agree with you. I think one team will come out of that division. If Cooper Rush stays, I have a feeling two teams will come out.
I'm telling you, watch. I'm telling you.
Dana B. Seuss's Chapman is off the Yankees. So I don't know if you know, they left him off the roster. It looks like he's played his last game with the Yankees.
Thank God. Thank you, God.
Jeremy Forgy, Cooper Rush is the truth. I don't know about the truth, but I love the way he's commanding that.
That's a lot. But right now, yes, he's playing great. That's a lot. But like
Reggie Brown, that got Tom Brady not getting that spot back. I agree. I think it's in their best interest, man.
I think it's in his best interest too. But you don't pay somebody that much and not start. Like, I'm telling you, like they gave him way too much money. Too much money.
I'm gonna say this. What? How many times have Dak his return have been pushed back now? They keep pushing it back by one game. You're supposed to play against the Rams. Now it's like,
watch that bye week. It's coming.
Look, man. All I know, we're gonna look up. It's gonna be wild card week, and they're like, hold off, Dak, one more week.
I'm telling you, Jay, it's Dallas. They get in the way of their own success. They get in the way of their own success.
Now that
it's Dallas we're talking about. Like this is Dallas.
I definitely agree with. Dana B. Seuss Brady retired Dak to Tampa.
All right.
Glenn Foreman, Dak to the Redskins. Commanders, I know.
I think they got the remnants of Donovan McNabb for that. I don't think the Redskins want to do that. I don't think the Commanders going to do that. They saw what happened when they got Donovan McNabb. They was getting murdered.
Right. All right, so let's jump into the next thing I want to talk about. It was a huge story all across the league. Obviously, we saw the roughing the passer call on Tom Brady on Sunday. And then obviously last night we had another one in the Raiders and Chiefs game. And look, y'all by now, if you know me, you know my thoughts on football, you know my thoughts on the NFL and how quarterbacks are protected. So when these things happen, the whole world was outraged. Twitter was going crazy. I'm sitting back laughing like, what y'all expect? And that's my take on it. Look, everybody wanted quarterbacks to thrive and throw for 400 yards. You got, and I love them, but you got guys like Derek Carr throwing for near 5,000 yards. You got Herbert who's just throwing the ball all over the place, and they going for it on fourth down and like 4th and 1 from their own one, stuff like that. Look, man. Obviously, are the rules BS? Yes. Both calls were pretty much within the rules, and that doesn't make it a good rule. But at the same time, I'm like, what the hell are people complaining about? Because, look, last night when Derek Carr got sacked and they called a rough and a passer, I got angry, and obviously the Raiders benefited from it because it's trash. Yeah, I mean, it's a trash rule, and I get protecting the players. And obviously, like Reggie Brown just said, this comes right after Tua, right? So now it's more of an emphasis to protect the quarterback. And I get it. But what are they supposed to do? What is Chris Jones supposed to do? What is Jared supposed to do? So, and I do want to point out, it's not just roughing the passer. There's also a problem with pass interference, too, and defensive holding. Because sometimes I feel like they wait until the pass is completed or not to call it.
Absolutely.
But with that, I'm going to ask you, does the NFL have an officiating problem, or is this more of a rule problem?
Hell yeah, they got an officiating problem. They got an officiating problem, rule problem. All right, man, listen, okay. Like, everybody's been asking me about this roughing the passer stuff. Like, first off, the one on Tom Brady, right? Now, was it funny? It was hilarious. It's Tom Brady. You haven't been able to touch Tom Brady since he got hit that one time in 2002. Like,
it's not a shock, right?
That's not a shock. It's not a shock that like they want to protect Tom Brady. My problem with the officiating, my problem with the rule, okay, is that it doesn't apply to every quarterback. And what I mean like this, and I'm going there. You look at Jalen Hurts. You look at Lamar Jackson. You look at Josh Allen. You don't get no roughing the passer calls on them
because they run the ball.
Because they're expected to scramble and stuff like that.
Sure.
So like I could take Lamar and throw him to the ground. You're not gonna call the flag on that. But if I take Tom Brady, throw him on the ground, you're gonna call the flag on that. If I take Carson Wentz, throw him on the ground, you're gonna throw the flag on that. Make it make sense now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where it's like,
right,
they put in a new stupid rule and a new rule that they didn't really work on. They put in that rule just to cover up for what happened with Tua. And that's the problem. And that's the biggest problem. Is there like a throw window where you can't hit them that hard or something like that? Is there a box? No, they didn't fully get into detail with what the rule is, and they're just making it up on the fly. So of course, you're calling stupid plays. Pass interference these days is the most patty cake stuff I ever saw in my lifetime. Like, where it's like, or like sometimes they'll call pass interference on plays that's an uncatchable ball. That's not pass interference. Like,
right, which they did away with that part, the uncatchable.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean? It's
kind of crazy, yeah. Which because like now, for example, last night's game, the first time Carr threw it to Adams, I was like, okay, pass interference, fine. The second time, he knew Adams had no shot at that ball.
Yeah,
he just threw it up because he knew he was going to get the pass interference, and that's and the reason why I was upset with the final play of the game. That's what he was doing as well. Mm-hmm. He threw that ball up thinking Adams one-on-one. Either Adams is going to catch it, or it's going to be a pass interference. And I think that's a horrible way. That's a horrible precedent that's been set in the game. As for these roughing the passers, man, what is Chris Jones supposed to do? Sure, body weight, right? I know the rule. So Reggie Brown is correct when he says it's a rule problem. The refs are doing what they're told. I agree with that. That is the rule. However, what is he supposed to do? Like notice in the game last night, other than that, the play in question, notice how every time Mahomes or Carr got grabbed, they didn't have a chance to break away. They just blew the play dead, right? Mm-hmm. Now, as a person who loves defense, I'm like, fine. If you're gonna have the roughing the passer rule, the moment they get touched, like his two-hand touch or flag, end it right there, right? But the problem becomes is like Grady Jarrett. How many times have you when you played, have you spun a player around? And if his balance is good, he stayed on his feet. We've
A
seen
lot.
Mahomes.
A
We've seen
lot.
Mahomes win games like that. Deshaun Watson win games like that. So many guys have won games like that. Just call him in the grass then, right? Eli Manning, his Super Bowl win was because he was in the grass. He broke out through to catch David Tyree. Look, man, there's a bad rule. Now, the officials, I know they're the ones who calling the flag, so they get all the thing. But I agree, man. I think it's a rule problem. The refs are going to do what they're told. Back in the day, when Ray Lewis and the crew used to deck receivers coming across the middle, that wasn't a flag because the refs, they kind of were told what to do, right? But I don't know, man. So
I think they should be reviewable. Every ref in the passer call should be reviewable. If you're gonna do it like this, they have to be reviewable. Because some of
I
these
agree
stuff
with that.
it's like, yo, bro, like what do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
But that
yes, you can get old school and be like, you're taking the football away from football. Where's the contact with the bloodshed and the sport?
right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that part too, but it's like, yo, if you're gonna make a rule, make a rule
Sure.
with premier guidelines. And they didn't make a rule because these rules don't follow every quarterback as much as they all want to lie about
it. So we got some more comments. Can't hit the QB anymore by Reggie Brown. Dana B. Sousa's give the QB flags. That's how I feel, man. I'm like, at this point, just put the red practice mesh over and just say you can't hit him. If you tap him, he's sacked, 15-yard loss or whatever, man. Might as well put flags on the QBs for now. That look, I'm rooting for the Raiders last night. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, bro, that's not pass. Like, that's not roughing the passer. And then look, sometimes like we know makeup calls exist. Then all of a sudden, here comes a defensive holding on field goal. That was called after the ball went through. After the ball missed. Like he threw them. I'm like, oh, crazy. But I'm like, you know what? I know makeup calls are a thing. I'm not mad at that. They lost the game. Crazy. Who cares? Stuff like that is crazy, man. But the rules are the rules. Look, we know they favor the offense. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. Reggie Brown, right? Reggie Brown says in college, targeting calls are reviewable. Should be the same in NFL. I agree. I'm getting to no. I know the excuse they're going to say is all these reviews, they elongate the game, right? We know this. My problem is some of these games is getting like taken away from certain teams, given to certain teams. And look, I'm not here to say, oh, they always favor Brady, they always favor Mahomes, like the top guys in the league. But at the same time, it's like, bro, like some of these plays, it's like a defense makes a good play, spins, gets past the tackle, it makes a sack, and because he landed on top of the quarterback, it's a 15-yard automatic first down. Like what?
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's really not fair. Jimmy Forgy says hitting is part of the game. Figure it out. Exactly. Like, look, we know it's a dangerous sport. No, I don't want guys to get their heads knocked off. I want Derek Carr or Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes to be able to play week over week. I understand it. But at the same time, bro, it's starting to like not resemble football to me. And I know some gonna say that's a little exaggeratory, but like, yo, what are they supposed to do? Reggie Brown says, let the boys play. Coach Boone, cheetah. And Danny said that's his favorite movie. All right. Classic. So with that said, I want to know, man, what game this week is on your mind? Like, or you got thoughts on whether we talked about the Steelers already. Is there a game that you saw we could talk about the debacle on Thursday night?
I'm not watching the Thursday night game. I'm sorry. I'll be the first person to tell you. I'm not watching that. I'm sorry. After what I had to watch with the Denver and the Colts last week, I refuse. I'm not watching no more Thursday night games until it's a good game. No way in the world I'm watching that game. It's just not happening. I'll catch the highlights like a normal person. I'm not sitting down on the Thursday night. I'm not sitting in the airport on a Thursday night. And I'm going away with a Commanders fan. I refuse to be in the airport watching that dusty game. Like, I'll tell the flight attendants to turn it off if I have to.
It can't get no worse than last week, though.
Oh my God! Like,
that was the worst game I've seen in a long time. Like,
that game was
I've seen 3-0 games way better than that game.
I agree with you. Like,
because it wasn't good football. A defensive game, I'm here for, right? You getting picks, you getting whatever. That was the sloppiest display of football I've seen in a very long time, if not ever. It might be the worst game I ever saw. And of course, it goes to overtime.
Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, the game I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'm a little scared. I'm not trying to see Tom Brady destroy my team. Like we know what Tom Brady does to the Steelers, and I hate it. Tom Brady's, you know what he does, because magically we're gonna play zone all week, and cover 3 zone. Tom Brady picks apart like life depends on it.
Right.
But besides my own game that I am excited for, I'm excited to see the Bills and the Chiefs like everybody else. Why? But I'm excited to see the Bills and the Chiefs, not for the stupid offensive scoring and because of what happened last season. I'm here to see the mistakes, because I want to see all the mistakes that they're both going to make. Because if you look at the Chiefs had a huge, incredibly great game, but a lucky win. They escaped that win crazy. Like, I've never seen this team just scoot on by with a defensive holding call and a field goal in my life. Even though I think that, and then if the Raiders just kicked the field goal, instead of going for 2, where he ran a zone, an inside zone, they win the game. Like they probably win the game.
Or run the ball on 4th and 1 when Jacobs has a career night rushing the ball, or the $30 million receiver. Don't get me started on that. Who want to push guys down on the ground.
Like, all these little things could have happened if you would have just did these things, and the Chiefs capitalized. They won the game, right?
Right.
You look at the Bills. Everybody's all Bills Mafia now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Bills do no wrong in people's eyes. So
it's a great test. It's a great test.
This is the big test for both teams. And like, I think Buffalo will end up probably winning this game.
Okay.
But I don't think it's gonna be easy, because like, I think what we're gonna see is the Chiefs have the receivers who are not Travis Kelce will have a hard time getting open. Like, they have a very hard time getting open. Like, you look at, like, for example, Juju Smith-Schuster. He's not a yard burner. Like, you know what I mean? Valdez-Scantling. You saw him in prime time last night. Dropped a big first down.
Absolutely.
Like, McCole Hardman. They want him to be like Tyreek Hill so bad. He's very iffy in and out. He's
not Tyreek.
He's not Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
he's fast. Not. He's super fast, but he's not Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Like,
it's a difference.
They have great play calling. Obviously, it's freaking Andy Reid. It's going to be a great shootout.
Sure.
But like, I think like I'm here for that game just to see the mistakes, because I think the mistakes will show on whoever wins or loses. The mistakes will show, and I think everybody will be able to capitalize off those mistakes from the for the rest of the league. To be honest,
I think one of the things with the Chiefs is, I think if the Bills can come out and score like they've been scoring all year long, right? They can come out and score the ball like the Raiders did last night. I think that's one of the problems why it was a tight game. Raiders, like, if you put up 30, we put up 30. Obviously the going for a 2 thing, whatever. That aside, if you could play now, I think we're back to where you can't play man on Kelce. You have to put 2 on him, which why the Raiders didn't put 2 on him in the red zone. I will never understand. Only player I've ever seen had 26 yards receiving before touchdowns. It don't make any sense. But I think the Bills are going to win that game. We got a prediction from Reggie. We know Jeremy thinks the Bills going to win. Reggie says the Bills going to beat the Chiefs 38-24. So he's saying a 14-point game. I'm not. Look, if Chiefs receivers can't figure out how to get open, because we know they're going to stop running the ball for some reason. They always do. So that's a tough one. But let's get to the comments. Glenn Foreman. They have an issue with favoritism. Certain people get the calls and others don't. So that's what you were saying, basically. They're overreacting to Tua. His original concussion was a push. I'm old school, yet very open-minded. This game has changed for the worse. It's ruining the game. This is football, a man's game. I think at the end of the day, look, the Tua thing happened, and that was more, he shouldn't have been playing that Thursday night, right? It's almost impossible. If you get tackled, there's a high chance your head's going to bounce off the ground. This roughing the passer thing, they have to figure out, or what's going to happen is just tap him on the shoulder and be like, all right, cool, he got you sacked.
They're gonna start playing thud. I'm promise you're gonna start playing thud.
It's crazy. Say he's watching the Commanders games Thursday night. We got a Commanders fan.
May God be with you. You know I love you, but may God be with you.
That Thursday game was like a 2003 Albany High football game. Wasn't good defense. It was horrible football. Cannot agree anymore.
Facts.
The Bills versus Chiefs, baby. 425, best home of the weekend. I want to know right now, and obviously he meant best game of the weekend. You more excited for Bills Chiefs or Cowboys Philly?
All right. So as a Pittsburgh Steelers insider, as an NFL insider, I'm excited more for the Bills and Chiefs. Like I said, I want to see all the mistakes.
Sure.
But as a good game, I'm more inclined to watch the Cowboys Eagles because I just want to see, because this is like their first test of playing somebody. At least the Bills have played somebody already. At least the Chiefs have played somebody already. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
absolutely.
They both have played good teams already. Eagles and Cowboys have played none. So like I want to see them against each other. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm interested in that game a little bit more than just like the little offensive juggernaut. Like I'm a defensive guy as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like I want to see an actual game. Like, you know what I mean?
Philly Cowboys from Dana. We also got Reggie with a prediction. Cowboys 24, Eagles 10. Brian Schultz, what's up, bro? Cowboys versus Philly has a better buzz. It's a big game. Both teams right now, they hot teams right now. I know Buffalo is too, Kansas City is, but right now, Philly 5-0, Dallas 4-1. That might be a better game. I think Buffalo going to win by 10-14. We'll see come playoffs, but I think Buffalo's going to win. Glenn Foreman says he was late to the show, but did y'all discuss the red zone play calls by Cincy coach Zach Taylor? Still pissed. So we know you're a Bengals fan. Let's talk about it real quick.
Oh God.
I'm gonna say this. I know it's not gonna make you feel any better, but it's not just Zach Taylor. I'm telling you, the way football is being called is crazy. Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris, Damon Pierce, any of these running backs can run all the way down the field, and then they get to the 1 yard line and it's throw field goal. Like I don't understand it. Like it's like, I swear it's like they don't want the running backs to score. It's like the Russell Wilson thing in a Super Bowl against the Patriots. They don't want the running back to score the ball.
It's this college stuff. It's this mixture of college stuff and the Chiefs. Everybody want to be the Chiefs. I don't know why. Everybody, like, you get down to the 1 yard line and all of a sudden you're gonna run a shovel pass. No, no, that's not gonna work. Run the ball in. Just run the ball and QB sneak it for all I care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's trying to be so unorthodox to where unorthodox after a while they just look stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was cool back in the day when you see like a play action pass to like an offensive tackle or something like that. Nobody does that all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody does that all the time.
Right.
Like these days, and the thing is, that's the thing these people run. Because trust me, I hate when the Steelers do it. I want to throw something at the TV every time. I'm like, stop running these stupid little shuffle passes to tight ends. Like, it's not gonna work all the time. It's 4th and 1, 3rd and inches. Run the ball, bro. Just run the ball. Like, that's all somebody asking for you. Where the fullback dives. Like, a fullback is such a forgotten position.
Something, yeah. Like, I'm to the point where, like, when they get to the red zone, I'm like, I don't want to watch this no more. Like, because it's silly. Like, for example, as a Raider fan, and y'all know the Raiders and the Chiefs are rivals, right? I'm watching the game, and when Patrick Mahomes dropped back and just basically heaved the ball up to McCole Hardman, he threw it like 10 yards over his head. I'm like, bro, you run the ball's game. I'm mad. I'm like, run the ball. You get the first down. You run out the clock. Possible game over, right? But I'm like, why are you just throwing? And then what do the Raiders do on 4th and 1? The same damn thing. It's like, bro, just run the damn ball. In that game, Raiders could have won or the Chiefs could have won if they just ran the ball. Since he could have, the play calling is atrocious. I know, yeah, we want to throw the ball all over the yard, but this is getting way out of hand now. Like, it really is.
It's like, even then, it's like you throwing on the worst down. Like, if you're gonna throw the ball on 2nd down, not 1st down.
Right.
Don't throw the ball on 1st down.
Right.
And then it's like, what happened to the fade route? Like, I feel like I'm not seeing a lot of fade routes either. I'm like, bro, y'all not even throwing high graded catches. Like, y'all trying to throw slants across the middle. I'm like, bro, What are we doing? Like,
So we got a comment from Reggie Brenner about the Chiefs. Chiefs are the 2010s Lakers. They're cocky and will downplay this game. Chiefs get revenge playoff time. I have not been, speaking of Chiefs, shout out to my boy Nick, biggest Travis Kelce fan in the world. Kelsey's my guy though. But yeah, the Chiefs, they play cocky when it comes to a team like the Chiefs, and so I kind of agree. I just want to see them in the playoffs, right? Because this play calling thing they do now that works sometimes, right? It comes back to haunt them in the playoffs. And I know people like how, because they went to 4 straight AFC championships. But at this point, they played in 2 Super Bowls, they lost 1, they won 1, right? But that means they lost the other 2 AFC championships against the Patriots. Andy Reid's play calling in the first half got them in that hole that Mahomes tried to bring them out of, and they lost in overtime. And then they lost to the Bengals in overtime. Why? Because the play calling was horrible. They need this play. They keep with the GOAT sign. I feel you, bro. Look, man, I really like the way the Chiefs play football. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of the passing game all over the yard. If they run, I think if the Chiefs run the ball, some of these teams run the ball. I think if the Chiefs they ran the ball more, they would have already won another Super Bowl. If you ask me, I'm not. Maybe they beat the Bengals. Maybe they beat New England the first time around, going to beat the Rams. Who knows? But
I agree.
It's an issue, right? All right. So Jeremy Forgy, Bills game will come down to whoever has the ball last.
Probably.
I think this time, I think the Bills win again. I do think they'll meet in the playoffs. I don't know how that will go. We'll have to see who's healthy, who's not. I do think the Bills will win this week. Brian Schultz, Cowboys versus Philly has a better buzz. I do agree. I think that game Sunday night, I just need to see prime time. Jalen Hurts, he's still young. Cooper Rush obviously is playing in his 6th game. The defense, both defenses supposed to be good, so I'm ready to see. It should be a big game from CD Lamb, who I'm not completely sold on yet. Glenn Foreman, we are all New Yorkers. Are the Jets and Giants for real? So we covered that already. So I think the Jets offense is real. The defense, I know they got a defensive coach. I'm still on. I think the Giants defense is real. Saquon having to carry the entire load, I don't know. You know what I mean? That's a lot to carry. I'm just saying.
For real, both a stretch, but they're going to be definitely highly improved from what both were last year, though.
But what I will say, I like Robert Saleh as a Jets coach, and I like Daboll, what he's doing with these Giants.
I love Daboll as a Giants coach. I think they both don't. I think they both don't have enough to get into the playoffs, but they're going to take tremendous leaps forward from what they both were last year. Like, I don't think they're going to be a top 3 pick for either team next year. I mean, for this upcoming draft.
Absolutely. Sharon Mullen, yo, what up? Hope all is well. Comment down below what you thought about week 5 NFL. Nikki John, Reggie used to think Romo was better than Eli. Oh my God, that debate. Romo, Eli, Wilson, and Luck. Brady and Manning, the age-old debates.
I'm so tired of Eli. Like, oh God.
Reggie Brown, issue is NFL teams don't draft rush blockers anymore. All pass blockers. Absolutely. If you notice, NFL offensive linemen are getting slim and they're slimmed down. They're faster because like you called it, screen game. Got to run out, right? The screen game, when it comes to pass blocking, you got to get that first step back. So they all slimming down to match the pass rushers besides the Titans and the Ravens. That's why their run games is so lethal.
They're all the mad big. Like
Reggie says he was about Romo Eli. Sharon, week 5 is trash. I was 8-8 in my pick'ems. Did you get any of the upsets though? Were there any upsets? My Steelers got pushed around all game. Yeah, Buffalo. The one thing I like about the Bills
that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, we got a Steelers fan. Devonta here is a Steelers fan.
That was embarrassing.
One thing about the Bills I like though, and I think more teams can do this, it's the NFL. Run up the score. Too many comebacks around the league is happening. So when you get a chance, just run up the score. That's what I like about the Bills. The Ravens are the same way. Well, they used to be. They used to be the same way. Just run up the score. because too many times comebacks are happening in the league. We saw the Raiders was up 17-0. They were up 20-0 against the Cardinals. Just run up the score. If you beat them 40-3, you beat them 40-3. Who cares? Like,
yeah, like I didn't see nothing wrong with that. Like what like they did run up the score. Like this isn't Pop Warner football. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
you gotta play like that old school Bill Belichick ball. Like just keep the stomp their head in until until they can't get up. Like that's what you just got to do in the league. It's the NFL. That's what you got to do in this league.
Glenn Foreman, should we watch out for the Niners? Look,
I think they go in the playoffs. They go in the playoffs.
Look, I know Reggie makes fun of me, calls me old school, but the way the Niners play that inside run game that Kyle does, I know Jimmy sometimes a lot of his passes are high, which means sometimes he throws a lot of passes that are like tipped and picked.
He'll do enough.
Debo's that dude, like he's that dude.
He'll do enough. They go into the playoffs. They
got
enough.
Speed at the run. Yo, the defense is back. Look, I think the Niners might go back to the NFC Championship. I don't know yet. Obviously, we got to see injuries and stuff like that. For some reason, they get hurt every year. I don't know how this happens.
They got a lot
every year
still with Trent, like no Trent Williams. Like it's gonna be a little tough. It's gonna be a little tougher for them, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to the playoffs. I will not be surprised.
Every year they have like 12 guys out, and I don't know what's going on with them. Like every single year, it's like 12 like main guys they go out.
Oh yeah,
Nicky John. Real question of week 5 is, are the Bengals really trash? Obviously, it's a shot. I forgot your pops was a Bengals fan.
All right, trash is a strong word. Trash is a strong word.
Right,
I think they have components. They have components. So, for example, like the offensive line has just been playing abysmal. Like, their offensive line has just been playing garbage. And honestly, I just think it's time for the Bengals just to hire an actual offensive coordinator.
Right.
I think
not
having Zach Taylor. Yeah, having Zach Taylor to be the offensive coordinator and the head coach is becoming too much, and it's starting to show in their play calling.
Shout out to Steven for checking this out too. Appreciate you, bro. So Reggie, facts. No mercy rules with grown men. Right, exactly. Like blow them out. Jeremy says, easy to run it up when you leave wideouts open and Josh Allen throws for 4 or 5 in the first half. But that's my point, though. You know how many teams in the league they would have just dive plays and all of a sudden Steelers crawl back into the game.
Like
just
no,
run up the score.
Yeah, like I didn't see nothing wrong with that. Like he's throwing 98-yard bombs. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, what do you want me to say? Like,
Niners defense is nice too. Yeah, no, they real.
They always got a defense.
Gang tackle. The way they run to that ball is crazy.
They just lost Jimmy Ward too, though. Like,
yeah, I know. Nick Bosa's hurt. See, you see what I'm saying?
Jimmy Ward with the broken hand. Like, I don't know. Like
every year, the 49ers around like week 4, 5, 6. It's like I don't know how they keep losing all these players. I don't get it. Like, is it like something? Is it just bad luck? Like, I don't know what's going on.
They gotta make sure everything.
Predicted the Cowboys would beat the Rams. Yeah,
Rams is trash, man. Like the Rams is trash.
I'm not saying the Rams were a fluke last year. I love Von Miller on that team with Donald, of course, and a lot of those guys. But that offensive line, man, is horrible. Like, and Stafford, look, I'm not saying it's all on him, but it's like, bro, can you throw the ball to somebody else besides Cooper? I know he's always open, but like, bro, like, throw it to somebody else.
Like they got
unless you got him on fantasy.
They got Allen Robinson for no reason.
Nicky John, that Burrow Chase connection looks bad. No chemistry is forcing the ball. Again, here's the difference though. Tyler Boyd and who's the other guy from the Bengals? I can't think of his name.
T. Higgins.
Like I know he's been banged up, but they got the receivers and they got Hayden Hurst and mixing out the backfield to throw the ball to. Everything don't have to be about Chase. If you have your Carr, everything don't have to be about Adams. If you're Stafford, everything don't have to be about Cup. It's like, bro, spread the ball around. Like, damn.
The Bengals can't run the ball. That's the problem.
Right.
They're the lead. They have Joe Mixon has the lowest amount of yards per carry this year.
Absolutely.
That's worse than the Steelers. Like, and that's crazy.
Absolutely, Sharon. I've been saying the Niners need to fire the whole strength and conditioning. Yeah. Like, after a while, it's you, right? Like,
yes, absolutely.
There's no way these guys should be getting hurt this early in the season, and it's always like 6 of them at once.
Yeah, they're dropping like flies out there.
Said next man up. They always lose 3 to 4 players. Completely agree. Stafford is missing OBJ now, huh? OBJ talking about he going to the Bills, talking about he might go to the Chiefs, might go to the Bucks. The Niners,
You go to
I'm
Green
sorry,
Bay.
the Rams, Packers too. Rams need to like give him a real contract, not like one of those veteran minimum joints. Like he needs to get a real contract because they need him. They need him.
Him and Green Bay would be stupid crazy.
They would too, but I don't know if he won't go out and play in the cold. LA, Green Bay, Wisconsin. I don't know about that.
Don't tell him don't be light skinned.
Don't get me started on Adams. Don't get me started on Adams. Look, man, you want to push down staff members and cameraman, but yeah, he bobbled the ball, man. I know what he's saying. He said he had it and he took one hand off, but he bobbled the damn ball. That's on him. Sorry. Green Bay don't deserve OBJ. I'm tired of the Packers, so I completely agree. OBJ is fragile. He tore his ACL. You know what I mean? He tore his ACL.
That's a lot. I mean, he was playing the Bengals when he did it, so like you know that's a sore subject for him.
Rams are stuck in a bad dream. They'll eventually wake up. I don't know. Offensive line, unless they're gonna go out and get new offensive linemen, what's happening is it's like they draft. It's like you said, offensive line are changing. Their two guards are like one of those like run blocking guards, big, good first step, bad first step in terms of pass blocking. That's part of the problem with the Rams. Everybody talking about Draymond now. That was a biatch move, hitting the camera. Yeah, look, man. Adams, like I said, if he want to do all that, he can go back to Green Bay. And I know Raiders, they ruffians as they say, and they crazy, but
typical
like, nah, bro.
Typical.
I'm
Raiders,
not cool with that. That's messy.
And
yes, I know he apologized. I'm not cool with that. Last few comments.
That cameraman
got to go.
That cameraman flew like a bird though.
I would have too, man. You're gonna pay me.
He flopped. Like that cameraman definitely flopped, but like he's smart.
He definitely did. Jeremy, Bills either picking up OBJ or Christian McCaffrey. I didn't hear about that actually. Is that new? Did you hear about that?
He might be on the trade block. Christian McCaffrey always hurt. True.
McCaffrey is more fragile than OBJ. Yeah, absolutely.
Way more fragile than OBJ.
And the last comment before we get out of here. Appreciate your time, Devontae. I know you got to go. Is this week's Pretenders? Is this the week Contenders show up and the Pretenders begin to fall off? Actually, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say about two more weeks.
A couple more weeks. Once all the teams start to like get through their bye weeks and stuff. Yeah. Normally by trade deadline. Is when people start to fall. Absolutely.
Yo, Devontae, I appreciate you stopping through. Everybody in the chat, you could be on the show too. It's an open door. I'm gonna give everybody one shot, one opportunity. Don't miss your chance to bluff.
All right, 8 Mile.
Right. But yo, just hit me up to be on the show next week, of course. If you would like. Appreciate all y'all checking out the show on Facebook, on YouTube, and everything. Devontae, let them know where they can find you so you can go get to what you got to do.
You know, it's Devontae forever and everything. Thank y'all for listening. Jay, thanks for having me.
No doubt.
You know the vibes.
Yo, I'm going to catch you guys next week. Hit me up to be on the show. If you like, it don't take much to be on the show. I promise y'all. We'll hook y'all up. Catch y'all next week. Appreciate y'all. We out. Peace.